If marketing feels weird right now, you're not crazy. There's a lot of stuff happening. And today, in January 2026, the biggest thing that I'm seeing across business and all this marketing is this, that people are doing more work than ever before and trusting the results less than ever. AI is literally everywhere. Ads are everywhere. Content in every form, audio, video, visual content, it's everywhere. And yet everything feels a little bit the same, right? This is another talking ahead video. There are plenty of other talking ahead videos out there of AI generated characters and spokespeople that are not real, or maybe they're repurposed from a real person. So it's hard to believe what is real and what isn't. So today, I want to walk you through 5 things that people are debating right now. And I'm going to keep it simple, but with real examples and what to do about it. If you are a member of a marketing or creative team, or simply just want to figure out how to better take these insights and put it into your business, big or small, then listen up. Because honestly, marketing, it's not broken. Of course, it still works. You got to promote a product or service. But what is broken or currently actively breaking across different industries or businesses is trust. And trust can't be automated by AI. Okay, so speaking of AI, let's start there. Here's the tension I often hear from some leaders. They feel like there is a massive pressure to plug AI into everything they do, from emails to ads, scripts, blog posts, customer support, all of it, every single touch point. And the output looks fine. In fact, it works and probably saves time or saves money on headcount, but it's not near as memorable as something that is human-driven yet AI-assisted. It's kind of like you read it and your brain goes, yeah, that's a sentence. I know I'm reading something, but did a human write this or did a robot write this? And then it often goes forgotten because it doesn't feel original. It doesn't feel like there's that imperfect human touch behind it. Okay, so Equinox, big company, they ran a New Year's campaign that leaned into a kind of surreal looking AI generated image, and people called it AI slop. It confused people. It got people debating in the comments, and Equinox basically said, yeah, that's kind of the point. We wanted this reaction. So whether you loved that campaign or hated it, it shows the moment we're in, that people are constantly asking, what is real? Not real. What's fake? What's human? What's not? And do I care? Sometimes people don't really care if it's AI or human generated. When the brands like yours, like mine, we are deciding whether to avoid that altogether or walk straight into it and embrace it entirely. So what's really the real problem with AI for most brands, companies out there? It's not that AI is ruining creativity. It's that AI exposes something that's kind of uncomfortable as a viewer or just as a customer to any product or service out there. Because a lot of brands never wrote down their voice. They never define what they sound like. So when they use AI, it fills the gap with kind of guesses, and it becomes more of an average voice across the internet. That's why everything starts to sound the same or look the same. And honestly, doing this is starting to break brands slowly. Here's how it's starting to happen slowly for a common company. Let's say you got a marketing manager, maybe that's you. You've used AI to write a landing page on your site. Someone else uses AI to write the sales emails. Someone else uses AI to write the social media posts. Customer support then uses AI to answer tickets or respond to emails by plugging in one email into ChatGPT and getting a response. Individually, it's all fine, right? We're all doing it in some form, but together, the brand starts to feel like it has become multiple personalities because either that AI thread is disjointed and not shared across the organization for one consistent brand voice. It's kind of like your brand is wearing 5 different outfits at the same time, right? From those who are writing emails to those who are running ads, those doing social media posts, whatever it may be. Yeah, it's okay that we use AI, but if it's disjointed, so it's not on one shared chat thread, AI chat thread, where the brand voice can stay consistent, let alone guided by a brand book that has been generated by humans and not by artificial intelligence. That can guide the decisions that happen and the buck that's stopping with the humans to give approval whether something goes out. You don't need tons of gatekeepers. However, you need consistency and a shared voice. And if people start to see that inconsistency across brand touchpoints, then trust does start to erode. So here's what you can do. If you want AI to help you to not blur into everything else, then do these three things. First, you got to create a voice one-pager for your brand, not a 40-page brand book, just one page. Keep it simple. You may say something like, we sound like a confident friend, or we don't overhype, or we don't use buzzwords, or we tell the truth even when it's inconvenient. Then second, you want to build a tiny example library. AI learns faster from examples than instructions. So giving specific use cases goes a long way. So give AI 3 emails that you absolutely love, the style, the format, the copywriting tone from. Then also give it 3 posts you love from social media, maybe 3 ad scripts. A cool thing here so a couple months back, I went to a big marketing event in San Francisco for Salesforce. They call it Dreamforce. And one of the keynotes I heard, he made a comment about AI prompts in chats. And I loved one thing he said where it kind of broke down, yes, we can get a lot of typical responses. They are sounding more human at times for whether AI is helping us write emails or social media posts. But the prompt recommendation he shared was tell AI to rewrite email, insert whatever copy or book or, whatever you have in it, write landing page. Tell it to write it as if it's a handwritten note. Not necessarily a love letter, but something that's handwritten, like something you would speak to a friend, and not just marketing or business lingo that just goes over a head. It sounds corporate or impersonal. And I've started to do that, and I've seen AI change drastically, and it sounds a lot more human, honestly. It's pretty cool. So try that quick tip when it comes to prompting ChatGPT or your AI tool of choice. And then third, you want to put a human gate on anything customer facing. You don't want to slow everything down, but you do want to keep what you do recognizable that has that human touch. Speed is useless if you're speeding in the wrong direction. Now, here's a bigger example of where this is actually going. Shopping. So shopping is moving into AI chat experiences. We've recently seen that ChatGPT is putting ads within their AI search results, which I think is a cool thing, especially if they're contextual to the search that you are doing, or it's not interruptive. It's just very natural in the results given. Even Shopify, they introduced something called the Universal Commerce Protocol. Yeah, it sounds super heavy. It's built by Google to help enable agentic commerce, meaning people can research and buy directly inside of AI chat. And that shift could change how ads actually work, how products get discovered, and what brand even means when the buyer is in an AI assistant versus, say, directly on the website or some other search. So yeah, AI of course does matter, and I'm not saying you should not use it. I use it all the time. But the takeaway here is pretty simple. AI should not or does not replace your brand voice. It exposes whether you ever had one. Okay, so let's move on to this, shall we? We talked about AI. Now let's talk about performance marketing. It's kind of stalling a little bit, and no one really wants to admit it. So ads. A lot of teams are quietly feeling that ad costs are constantly going up, and results are flatter than ever before. And honestly, it's harder to explain what's working and what isn't. And the conversations, well, they kind of sound like this. Is the creative tired? Is tracking broken? Is the economy being weird right now? Is the platform being crazy? Are we out of cheap attention? Well, the truth is, it's usually a little bit of everything. All of the concerns or questions bundled in one. But there's one shift happening right now that tells the story in a much better way. So more advertisers, yes, are moving to automated ad campaigns, especially on TikTok and Meta. So think about this recent stat from eMarketer. They said that 42% of US TikTok performance campaigns now use Tinuity's Smart Plus automation, up from 9% at the start of 2025. So what does this mean in normal human words? Well, it means that platforms are pushing automation harder and harder and harder and harder. So brands are letting algorithms decide more of what they should be doing. And if you don't have strong inputs, well, then creative that's actually good, automation just scales kind of okay. This means that often ads feel and do perform worse than ever before. So if you're selling something and you're relying on ads alone to create trust, you're going to feel this stall and slowdown in your performance because ads work best as an amplifier of something or creative and messaging that already works. It's not going to fix a broken sales system or marketing funnel that has the wrong message for the wrong people. And if people already trust you, ads just pour gasoline on the fire. And if they don't trust you, ads feel like someone yelling through a megaphone. All this to say, marketing leaders are being forced to answer this question. Did this actually create new sales, or did we just take credit for sales that would have happened anyway? So here's what you should do. If your ads are just not working at all, either one, refresh creative faster than you think you need to, not because trends, but because attention decays much faster. Two, you could stop one ad tries to do everything and make ads that do one job only, not one ad to just do every single thing. So you focus on one hook, one promise, and one next step or CTA. You could build a trust system that's outside of ads only. And when I say ads, I mean paid ads, of course, across Meta, Google, you name it. So you could do a weekly show, like a video podcast. You could do more customer proof or testimonials and case studies. You can do comparison articles or videos, behind the scenes content in a vlog style format, or here's how we do it, talking about your frameworks and unique methods for getting results or creating your product or service. Because here's what's important here. So again, remember, ads will not fix a broken marketing funnel, poor messaging, misalignment on whether your creative is telling the right story to attract the right audience to sell the right product or service. So build out that foundation first. And yes, ads can be effective, and the performance of those ads to drive actual sales can be a huge upside, but focus on the foundation first of your brand, your messaging, and what it looks like to actually build real trust. I've also heard this question from a lot of marketing teams, big and small, is do we need to hire an agency, someone or some company and team out of house? Is it in-house or agency? Well, here's what's actually happening. Here's what's actually happening right now. In-house teams are overwhelmed. They're overcommitted. Agencies are being watched more closely, and hybrid models are growing because everyone's trying to survive the volume, the demand for more content, more creative. And creative review, should be definitely covered in-house by creative leaders who are thinking about 2026 and beyond. So that's balancing AI, external partners, and what makes sense to keep things internal, especially a focus on strategy and that brand voice. So the real question isn't necessarily about should we go agency or in-house, because you need the solutions that both provide. But the real question is, do we have enough capacity or budget to execute without breaking the team? So here's an example of how in-house could work for you. In-house works best when your work is repetitive, it's predictable, or your brand and your voice is stable and understood well within your company. Or maybe your needs are just predictable, right? But when agencies work, and again, this can be in tandem, a hybrid approach, but when agencies work and when they help you shine, this is when you need bursts of speed, maybe for a certain campaign or show or just expanded capacity, or you need specialists to focus on certain key areas of your marketing and creative efforts. Maybe you need fresh creative that doesn't get trapped in internal politics, and you need to move faster than your in-house team is able to do. So the hybrid model that's actually working, which is the winning setup that I see, our company sees at Content Supply, is that in-house owns the message, strategy, priorities, and approvals, but then external partners plug into production, maybe editing, design, and the overflow, and they can move fast. Not because of simply outsourcing, but because capacity is needed on demand. So the future isn't agency versus in-house and whether you should do one or the other. It's about having enough output without blowing up your organizational chart, which is why hiring out of house a partner like, say, Content Supply allows you to work with an expanded team out of house without increasing your overhead. And then let's move on to this. So everyone wants what's called thought leadership, but nobody agrees on what it actually looks like at times. Okay, so thought leadership. The feed is full. Think of your LinkedIn or watching this video on YouTube, TikTok, you name it. Engagement feels a little bit weird at times. A lot of executives are posting, sure, but they're not getting customers from those posts. Also, LinkedIn has changed the ways that they are working in 2026 because Forbes has covered this. So when it comes to thought leadership, posting less or more, that's not leadership. Leadership is actually having a point of view, frameworks, and methodologies that you're able to teach and repeat, ones that work to help your target customer get results, win the day. So posting but not converting, is an issue. And it's one of the most common mistakes because someone may post random tips like, here's how to create a better video, or 3 ways to do this. But that may just be attracting the wrong audience versus sharing clear thoughts and perspectives that actually help a specific group. At Content Supply, we service creative and marketing teams to help them scale their output of content without scaling their team in-house. Our focused audience are those marketing teams, those marketing managers and CMOs who have strapped capacity, and we're here to help. So when it comes to thought leadership, focus in on who you actually are trying to talk to. Don't try to talk to everyone. You could consider things like a clear belief that you share and repeat. Think of what politicians do when they go on tour or they're on the campaign on the road. They have a few key talking points, at least the effective ones, right? Simple sound bites and statements, even slogans, and they repeat it again and again. It's kind of like a broken record if you were with them on each step of the way, but it's effective, or it can be, because it's a message that should and often does resonate with their customer base, their audience. You also want to share real examples in your thought leadership content. So you share wins, so customer stories, even losses, behind the scenes content. You want to share the story behind your brand and your experiences. And of course, you do want to invite to take action. You want to share real next steps, but don't be spammy, just be clear. Because visibility without clarity doesn't build authority. It just builds noise, and you need to be the signal in that noise. Now that you have an idea of thought leadership, let's then talk about content volume versus content meeting. Should you post every day, multiple times a day, or die? Because quality, should you post daily and focus on quantity or focus on quality over everything? And this debate, honestly, is a little bit emotional because you hear a lot of different contradictory advice. Teams are tired when they're spread thin with trying to post too much, or creators can feel replaceable. Leaders can even feel behind no matter what they choose to do, whatever path it may be. I find that many marketing leaders are increasingly saying that it's not either or anymore. They also call it as AI content reset. This is an idea that you become different from your story and the structure and the human judgment, not just about more output. So here's the answer that I know to be true at this moment in 2026 is it's a hybrid of the two. You got to operate within a place that works best for you and your brand and your audience. You often need one message that is said 50 different ways. So the brands that are winning right now are not the most clever, they're the most consistent and clear. So consistency will win the day, as it always has, honestly, whether that requires you to show up once a week, once a day, or 100 times a day. You simply just need and want a simple content system. So pick one core message for the quarter, then rotate it. So have a clear story that you repeat in different ways and formats. Have a lesson that relates to that story. Have behind the scenes that shows this story. And then a customer example and case study that can reiterate the story. You can teach and share your frameworks on how it works and break that down. The idea here is that you have the same message, just different ways that it's packaged across podcasts to videos to other posts. That's how people remember you. Kind of think honestly like a politician. As much as we love to hate them, they do a lot of things right when it comes to how they market, honestly. So if marketing feels harder right now, it's not because tools stopped working for you. It's because trust has become more of a scarce resource. And trust cannot be automated by AI. AI, though, can help you move faster. And I think that's a big win. It can help you scale your content and scale your team's efforts, but none of it matters if people don't believe you and recognize your unique perspective and your unique story and take on things. So the job in marketing in 2026 is simply be more clear, be consistent, and be human in your content. And repeat this story and this simple message as often as possible until people can not ignore you. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts and what one action you're going to take from this video down in the comments.